Wee, welcome back. Can we take this tray and turn it into something that looks half decent? I know a lot of you think I can't, but let's stick around and see if I can. So today, we are jumping back on to the tub of our 1938, that badass looking cab, our 5-inch roof chop with 4-inch channeled. We're jumping back onto this and we're going to work on this tray. So our plan is, one, we need to finish off all our fabrication, put our pieces in, finish our frame, weld it all out, get it all back to bare metal, see how we go. We need to try to put wood in it, make battery trays, all sorts of stuff. Let's see what, if anything, we can pull off. So for the newbies, this is a 1938 Chevrolet truck cab, built in Australia by Holdens. Hence, these beautiful 3 ribs that are in the roof. They are on many different brands. Basically, a lot of the Holdens built cabs from this area, Bedfords, Internationals, have these ribs in them. So what happened was, back in the day, is Chevy would send over the chassis, the motor, as basically a flat pack in a container, and Holdens, this is before Holdens was Holdens, when they were a body company, would make these cabs. So they are based loosely off the Chevy cab, but if you look at your American cabs, it will be different. And what we did was, we did a 5-inch roof chop. Now this is the first roof chop that we have done, and it's turned out pretty damn well. We also did a 4-inch, channeled it over the chassis. Now we haven't finished any of that yet. We've finished the roof chop, we haven't finished the channeling, we haven't done the floor, we've just put it down there for the look. We also grabbed this tub. We picked this up for $50 off of Facebook Marketplace a while back. And I don't know what it was off, probably off of a little tea bucket. And so what we're planning on doing is, well, what we have done is we've chopped it all up and we have widened it. Yes? So, and then we've notched it all out to slam it on the ground. What we have to now do is fix up our widening, get all those pieces put back in. It obviously has a layer of body filler all through it, so we want to grind all that back, get it back to bare metal, like we started over here. And then we're going to add some hydrochloric acid and get it to rust up and make it blend in. We'll put a bit of paint here and there and get it to blend in with the cab. So with our metal, with our sheets, we will use some of our old metal that we have cut out. We also want to then run a bit of a frame in above our chassis here for our woodwork to go in, a wooden tray. We want to actually box in the front. If you'll see, this has a weird curvy, a bit like a Santa sleigh in the front. We want to box that in to make that look right. And then in the back here, we're going to, whether we get this panel done or not, I don't know, but we want to make a new panel for here. And what my thoughts are is maybe we will bead roll in the emblem, the bow tie. That's the word for it, isn't it? We'll bead roll the bow tie Chevy emblem into that. So that is what my thoughts are on this. So stick around and we'll see what, if anything, we do end up achieving. First port of call is, I think now, is it is all pretty well reinforced. So I think our next step is we can basically pull it off the car. We've got this little frame that it was mounted on. I don't know if it will still mount on it down here. I don't know if it will still fit, but we'll try to throw it on this little table type thing we have, and we will start building it on the table. So, I think that's enough talking, malarkey. Let's get to doing the work. right Rooney. So I didn't bore you with too much of that. I just stuck it on hyperlapse, and I will not bore you with grinding the whole cab. Don't you worry about that. So we took the paint bog. You would have seen, hopefully you've seen how thick that bog in places is. It's very thick. As you can see, the place is an absolute mess now. So we are not tidying this shed until this thing's all back to bare metal. But we're not doing that today. I will do that off camera. I'll probably get stuck into it tomorrow. What I wanted to do though today was, before we moved off this plane, was to get this bit finished. So you would have seen, I actually cut a little bit off of our little stand because that's the right metal. Because I am very tightness, won't say the word, tight backside. I couldn't really be bothered going and buying any. So we got this silly little tabley thing made with the right size, which is I think 2 inch by 1 inch. So it's a bit of galv we put in. Now, I don't know if you know much about galv, but galv it's obviously coated. It's just normal metal coated basically, and you can just weld straight up through the galv, but you have to burn through the galv. It will spit and backfire and give you porosity in your welds. So you need to, if you want to do a decent weld, you need to grind the galv off. Now, how do you know when you've got the galv off? If you have decent eyes, which mine are pretty much shot from 20 years of being a welder, you'll see when you grind it, you'll see 2 color changes as the metal comes off. You'll see the galv come off, and you'll see it change, of course, from the dull to the the shiny metal. Then you will actually see it come off. Another layer will come off if you look closely. So be careful, do not go too deep, but you need to get the 2 layers off, okay? Then there's no galv left on that metal, and you can do a beautiful weld with no issues. So anyway, what we've done now is we've got one of the bits we cut out of the metal, and we're going to sit it in here. So yes, we've got that piece of galv welded in there. So there's that piece done. We've actually trimmed this back a bit higher. So our floor level down the bottom there was down there. What I'm going to do though is, and remember we are boxing this in like that, remember? From I think about here somewhere, it's getting boxed in and sheeted on the sides. And what I'm going to do is, with our little piece, our little box in piece that's in here, instead of taking it down there and having this little, the floor would have been like that big there, so it's kind of useless. So I've just brought it back, and I actually just scored the metal and bent it, but I just snapped it off in the end because I thought it would be better to just get rid of it. And what we will do is we will have a piece in here now, so our floor will probably come to here like that, and then box in, so we'll have a nice little neat compartment. And what we will probably do is the piece we put, this piece here, we'll put a little fold on it. We'll just drill some holes probably in this, and we'll put a little fold like that, and we'll just spot weld it along there. Okay, so nice and easy. Our other option would be, of course, to have this floor piece that we're going to have done in like a bit of a mesh type arrangement or something, so that it would not hold water. So that is something we may think about, or we may just put a little tiny in it, a little fold in it, so it's like a little, and put a hole in it so it's like a little drain. Or yeah, we may actually do this little piece here, if you're understanding what I'm saying, in like a mesh, but we'll think about that later. First we're going to just do this. So I thought I'd just call in. So my plan on this is, we've just taken this back, we will sit this in here, we will get some tacks here, we will work this edge, doing it nice butted up. Okay, we'll do the butt technique, and then we'll put some tacks across the front edge here, we'll grind that back, then we'll actually grind this, and we will cut and butt this in. Okay, so what I may do is I may actually work it out and just nick this corner and stick it in underneath. I think will be a nicer way of doing it. And then I can come along and use this, because this is our knife. We don't want to use the bad edge, so we'll cut that out, won't we? Yes, we will. So yes, we don't want to use this edge that's all banged up. So what I will do is I'll sit that like that. I'll get a little mark of where our piece ends. Just there. Give us a hit, watch your ears. Alright, what we'll do is we'll grab our textuar. We'll butt this up nicely here. We'll just cut this little corner out. There. And I'll show you what I'm on about in 2 seconds. Hopefully we've got the cut this in now. What's your eye? Alright, so what I am dribbling on about is, you gotta love it when I do that to you, don't you? Is I'm going to stick that over there like that. Okay? We're going to get, well, this side over here. Alright, we just stuck that under there. Then we're going to come along and go with the angle grinder on there and cut that, because this is nicer than that. See, as you can see, that's all banged up. Alright, so that's what I was doing there. We'll then tack, 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 cut, tack, 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 boom, done. Bob is your uncle. So I'll do that. I'll put you on speed up mode, and we will pull back in a minutos. Oakley dokley. So the camera had a bit of a meltdown there. It got full, so I don't know where you're up to. Alright, we'll start that again. So the camera got full there. Not quite sure where it wigged out, but so we fully welded that. So if we just go tackety tackety tack tack tack, yeah. So you might lay like 1 or 2 or 3 tacks, boom boom boom, move, boom boom boom. So first you tack it all like that, then you might come back in and fill your gaps basically. Sometimes it's good to lay a couple down in one, so that you don't end up with all pinholes everywhere. But look at that, boom, no pinholes anywhere, one go. So we could get fussier and grind them down, sand them down a bit more if we wanted, but we are not, because that is not going with the flow of this build. If you haven't gathered yet, all my builds have themes, okay? This one, have a look at the cab. Look at the cab. The cab is a 1938 cab, okay? We'll zoom into it. It is not painted and perfect, okay? It is a, what, 85-year-old cab with original paint on it. One of the many colours it would have had. So it's got dents, and you know, that's how we're keeping it. So where that's welded, look at the roof. I actually went in and smashed into the roof with the hammer to give it some rippling. Okay, with our Oakland we've done the same. We haven't gone 100% perfect because we want our new work to match in with a 100-year-old cab. Okay, when we do one that we are going to paint, we will do it perfectly. If we do one that we are going to leave in metal and just clear coat and make look beautiful, it will be perfect. But this, we do not want it to look perfect. I want it shown. I want to see this. Okay, when it rusts, it hides it a bit, but I actually want to see it. I want to see this. I don't want it perfect. Alright, so like I said, we could sand these up a little bit more and get rid of a couple of little edges, but I don't. That's all I want. I don't want to. I'd rather just knock the top off, not have it perfect, and keep the strength in it. Okay? Because this is, like I said, this is a ratty looking one that we're doing. Okay? So now there's this piece basically done. We may throw a couple more tacks across the front and give that a little grind. Other than that, this plane is nearly done, other than boxing this in, but it may go back on before we do that. We'll have a think about that. Yeah, I'll think about that. I think we're coming off of here, about there. But we could probably just pick a spot if we wanted. Anyways, there's that done. So it's getting dark now and I've had enough. So tomorrow we need to open up our wheel arches more. We want to cut them and make them bigger. If you've seen, I cut this thinner here because it was fouling. It was getting too close to our 4-bar bars, and it was a bit painful obviously to get on and off, so I actually thought I'd thin that out. Yeah, so onwards and upwards. There's our first piece done. Hopefully you've seen how that was all done. So we butted it up here, tacked it. We actually went under on this one. Sometimes you go over, whatever. We went under, ran the grinder along there, threw the piece away, done. Okay, plenty goods. Anyway, we will see you tomorrow. think that looks pretty cool. What do we think of that? Now, as you can see, it's already starting. We haven't even acided it or anything yet, and we're already starting to get a little bit of rust. Now, we've still got a lot to do. As you can see, I think we've still got a little bit of welding on the inside of these to do yet. But as you can see, what we'll have is a piece of flat bar underneath this with a hole in it. And we'll come in from underneath, and the same at the front. Just have a little piece of flat. Now I've got this pretty leveled. I'll probably run, I don't know, probably run some sort of a string line or something and check. Probably need a bit of assistance, but if we will zoosh over back here and see what we can see. Now I know it's very hard in this confined area, but yeah, we're pretty close with our line there to our body line. Is pretty well, it's pretty good, I think. But we'll just do a few checks to make sure, because I would like that to be, you know, I think if anything it might even be down a tiny bit at the front. I think we're pretty good. Now, before the comments come, we are not finished yet. So I just set it back on to make sure that I was happy with where I was heading and whether I was 100% on boxing in the curvy section. So I tried a different thing. I stuck a tyre in that area in there to see. I had a few different ideas. I've tried the little minion, I call this the minion tank. I've tried that up in here. I had the cab move forward a bit and tried it and dropped it in a bit. I don't really like it in there. That was the original plan, was to go in there, but I don't actually like it. I thought about bringing exhaust stacks up through here on each side. I don't really think I like that either. And I looked at mounting spare wheels in there. I think we're just going to go back to our original plan, which is going to be to box this in, which is why I wanted it on there, so that if I do box it, I can get it where I want it here and on the right level. Now, also we've got to think about our 4-bar down here. Whether I think if we take this out and actually run it through the other way and have the nut on this side, it will be fine. It won't matter what we do. Or the other option is that we have to leave that open. But or we have to come down here and go like, you know, back in like that. Whatever, instead of coming from there. So we'll think about that, whether we just put the bolt in from the inside and nut this side or whatever. So we've got to think about doing that. So that's going to be our next port of call. Will be, I think, we'll box that in with our petrol tank. We have 3 options. We have our minion tank that would be mounted somewhere like there. Out here we have that stainless steel keg, beer keg. It's pretty big, but that would be mounted in here too, same sort of area, but it's pretty big. Or we have this. And I think this was out of a truck. I think we have that little tank that a mate gave me, and that could be mounted in here, down in this area, underneath, hidden. So that's what I'm leading to, and we just have this little piece poking through our timber floor, like that. So that's what I'm leading to at the moment, is we use that tank hidden, and we take our little minion out. So we've got to also frame this, so we've got to come across here and then do a little frame around the outside for our timbers, and probably run maybe front to back for our timber. There's some timber, we won't even discuss that yet. We've also got to do our tailgatey, whatever we're going to do there. Like I said, there's a few different things. We could do like a little design, a little metal pattern of some description that we weld in, or we could get a sheet and bead roll in the Chev logo and tack it on. And then we've got to shoot a bit of paint and try to get a bit of and try to get the rust and the paint matching the carb. So that is where we are at with all of this. And I think we're going to leave this here because we're going to get way too long. We've got a little bit done. We've got all our panels done, all our framework rejoined. We've got it back as a complete tub again. We've got it all back to bare metal, and we've semi-cleaned the shed. The bog, or the filler, was in some places was about that thick, which is nearly ½ an inch in places. It was ½ an inch, and that was pretty nasty. The other thing I'm thinking is in here where the wood goes, above that we might just shoot that black in there where that orange is at the moment. We just might shoot that black. Yeah, and the rest will all be matching patina. So I think honestly I was going to try to do this tub all in one video, but honestly is no way it's going to happen. I want to try to keep the videos down to around the 40 odd minute mark, between ½ hour and 45 minutes if we can. So if that being said, this is probably going to be probably 3 videos all up on this tub to have it finatoed. But we will pump as much work as we can in each one. Now I did say I wasn't going to show all of the grinding of the filler off, but it was actually quite therapeutic for me to watch. So I thought you might feel the same. Drop your comments if that was boring you to pieces, or if you found that quite therapeutic as well. Anyway, with all that said, I hope you can see where I'm heading with this. Drop your comments on what you think. If you think, oh, I am stuffing this up, or if you think that it's going to look stupid, or you tell me what you think. And with that being said, I'll say thanks for watching, and I will see you next time I'm looking at you. Don't forget, come and join us on our live shows. Anyway, reap up.